So the federal government has shut down. And the media is telling everyone the official reasons why they shut down the government. But there are two real reasons behind all of this, and I'm going to talk to you about that today. Now, if you've been paying attention to the radical conservative ideology since Nixon and Reagan, like I have, you can see why they want to shut down the federal government. In this video, first I'm going to tell you the official reason why they've shut down the federal government, and then I'm going to go into the two secret reasons why they really want to shut down the federal government. So this is all about the United States federal budget, and it's a huge multi-trillion-dollar budget. It's massive, and there's a lot of money, and there's a lot of wrangling over all the different parts and pieces. So the official reason they have shut down the government is because the Republicans want to put through all kinds of measures that radically cut health care, that radically cut other programs that the people of the United States overwhelmingly approve of. But they can't get it passed as a regular law, so they're trying to shove it through in the budget. It's really nefarious. But here's the thing. To pass the budget, they have to get through the Senate before it can get to the president's desk. In the Senate, you only need 51 votes to get something to pass. But to get it to the vote, you've got to go through the filibuster wall. The filibuster wall says you've got to have 60 U.S. senators approve something to be voted on, then it can be voted in 51-49 and pass, right? But right now, the Democrats are not caving in to the Republicans' radical budget that cuts a huge amount of services and Medicare and medical help that the Americans need. And so what's happening is they're at a stalemate, and the Republicans said, we're not going to negotiate. We're just shutting it down, baby. But if you've been paying attention like I have since Nixon and Reagan to the radical conservative ideology and what they want to do with the federal government, you'll understand these two secret reasons and why they make so much sense. So let's get into it. The first reason is that they don't believe in the federal government, aside from the courts and the military. And so anything they can do to slam the federal government and cut jobs, they want to do. So part of this process has basically been going on since Nixon and Reagan, where you had a guy that decided that they wanted to get the government so small that you could literally drown it in the bathtub. That was Morton Blackwell, and he was a chief strategist for Nixon and for Reagan. They want to just kill the federal government and get rid of it because they believe that we shouldn't have government. But the second reason is a little more nefarious, and that comes from a guy who wrote the Project 2025 program, which you've heard so much about. His name is Russell Vought, and he's in charge of the Office of Management and Budget in the federal government. In other words, he's the chief money guy in the government right now. And what he wants to do is cut all the funds he can out of the government and radically reduce it. And the reason is because what they want to do is they want to replace workers, white-collar workers in the federal government, with AI. And it's an open secret in the political realms that this is what they really want to do. They want to get rid of 1 million federal jobs and replace it with AI. That's why you had DOGE going in and just slashing and burning and hacking at all the different agencies and jobs. First, they want to cut everything. Then they want to get rid of as many jobs as they can. And then they want to bring in AI. Now, let's just say there's, I think, 2.3 million federal jobs outside of the military and prisons and a couple of other small agencies. Now, if you look at that, something like 78 to 80% at least are white-collar jobs. If you can replace 50% of white-collar jobs, you've just lost 1 million federal jobs over the course of the next couple of years. That's the real goal. They want to cut those federal jobs. They want to get rid of them, reduce the budget, get rid of all the things the government's doing in healthcare, in social services, in taking care of people, in food programs and everything else. They want to get it down just to a skeleton, and they want to run that with AI. So see, this is part of a bigger plan that was started under Nixon and Reagan and has gone through in back rooms and in special organizations and special research organizations, everything else, for the past 40-something years. They want to get rid of government, period. And they don't recognize the value to the average citizen the government has. They just want the world to become more dog eat dog. Now, it's fair for them to have that as a belief system, but 70% of Americans say we don't want that. We want government. We want services. We want things to be available for us and help us and make the world a better place in the way we see the world. But these people disagree, and they have the power of the Supreme Court, the federal courts, the Congress, the Senate, the presidency, all the administrations, and everything else. They hold complete power right now, so that's why they're doing this, because they feel like they can run the table. But the American public doesn't want it. That's why the Democrats are standing up to them. Now, the next thing they want to do is they're going to say, we're going to push all these jobs, all these services. We can still keep them, but just do them at your state level instead. So they're going to say, well, we're not really going to get rid of them forever. We're going to replace a bunch of jobs with AI, and those other ones, the states should really be doing all that. It's not a federal role. And then they're going to go to the states and do the same thing. And then they're going to go to your local governments and do the same thing because they just don't believe in these services and in the things that make life better for most Americans. But 70% of Americans do. So we're going to see what happens with that. So that's, again, back to Elon Musk and his Doge. He thinks that we can get rid of most of the federal government by replacing it with AI. That's why they were going in and pulling down all the data from all the systems and seeing what everything the government does, because they want to be able to replace most of the workers with AI. Again, Elon Musk thinks he can. And I think this is a huge moral question. If we can replace 50% of all government workers or more, should we? That's the difference between knowing what we can do and what we should do. Again, this is a really hot and important topic, and I'm going to keep researching it and watching it and taking a look. Again, I'm not judging people here. I am just saying this is what both sides are doing, and we are stuck in the middle as the American public. So I'm going to keep researching, looking at it, and I'll put another video out as soon as I find more information that's useful to you. And I ask you, what do you think? Right? Yes, it's going to lower some taxes. Yes, it's going to streamline some services. Yes, it might make things a little more efficient. But it also means that a huge number of government services are going to go away completely from the federal government, especially in healthcare and in other kinds of personal life services that people rely on. Do you think they should go away? Write your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Ask the hard questions. This is something we all need to do together. In the meantime, if you like this video, like, subscribe, join, and make sure to leave that comment, and we'll get back with you and see what those comments are.